Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
But anyway, when I was 16, I tried out for the basketball team. It was the third year straight in high school. I didn't make it freshman, didn't make it sophomore. Junior year, I tried out, I didn't make it again. And after that tryout, I really considered quitting basketball. I figured that this basketball thing's not going to work out. And for an entire week, I didn't play no basketball because I felt I was down on myself because I hadn't made the team. And I didn't see any prospects for how I was going to be able to make it as a basketball player, because that's what I thought that I was going to become. And for a whole week, I didn't touch a basketball. And then at some point, it was going on, Darley 24. Then at some point, I decided, let me try it. Let me just give it one more try. Let me go one step further with it. I mean, I can't get no lower than this, because everybody in my neighborhood knew that I was a junior, and you pretty much figured that if somebody's going to be a basketball player, by your junior year of high school, you should at least have made the basketball team. If you ain't make it by your junior year, then basketball is probably not for you. And that's pretty much the consensus, what it was where I was from. And everybody that was around me who was a junior, who didn't make the basketball team by their junior year, they stopped really trying to be basketball players. Like, they play every once in a while, but it wasn't serious to them. They was like, yeah, I ain't no basketball player. I play for fun, but I ain't trying to play ball. But me, I was like, forget it. Why don't I just be the one guy who goes a step further? Why not be the one guy who tries to do it anyway, despite the fact that I'm not on the path to success that most people saw, and let's see what happens. And I went out and tried for it. I went and played on a local team, finally made the team next year in high school. The rest is history. Y'all can read the story in the book that's in my bio. The other story I want to tell you is I posted it on Snapchat this morning. If y'all follow my Snapchat, it's at Dre Baldwin, my name, no spaces. And Napoleon Hill talked about this when he first met with Andrew Carnegie before he wrote the book that became Think and Grow Rich. Andrew Carnegie told him that you have to study not only successful people, but also study people who fail. Because people who become successful reach the same point of failure as people who fail in life. The difference is the people who fail tell themselves one story that is not meant to be, and they stop going. The people who succeed hit that low point of failure, and at that point they look at their situation, they look at their surroundings, they look at what they've been doing that led to that low point, and they get a new purpose, they get a new plan, they recalibrate their minds, and they get a new why. Y'all know how they say, what's your why? They get a new why to succeed even while they're at that low point. And that low point is actually the point where success happens, because that's when they got to examine everything, figure it out, and decide they're going to go one step further to get to where they got to go. And what does that have to do with all of you here? Is that everybody here has reached, either you have reached or you will reach, and if you're going to reach a low point. You're going to reach a low point where things are not going the way you want them to. You're going to reach a low point where it's like, I didn't ever think I was going to reach this point here, or I was going to reach this point again. Or maybe you already passed the low point. You might hit a different low point based on your new standards wherever you are in your current situation in life. Doesn't matter what it is that you do, young or old. You have to decide when you reach that low point to go one step further. You got to decide to go one step further, or you can decide to quit. I mean, you got two options, but I don't think anybody here plans on quitting. I don't think most people go into things planning on quitting, but most people hit a low point that they didn't think they were going to hit, and they think the low point means, the story they tell themselves, this low point means this is not supposed to work out. This is not for me. I'm not destined to be this thing. Maybe I could be something else. And then they quit, and then they go try something else, and they realize when they hit a low point in that thing too, they realize that it's not the thing that they're doing that is themselves as a person. But by that point, it might be too late, because they passed on their opportunity to succeed, because when they hit the low point, they walked away from the thing that would have been their thing if they had kept at it. So what that means for all of you is that when you hit that low point, you got to make the decision to go one step further, to try it one more time, make one more phone call, try out for one more basketball team, get into one more relationship, start one more business, try to sell one more product, go to one more trade show, go to one more job fair. Whatever it is, you got to decide to go one step further. And on the flip side of that, if you are finding success right now, if you're being successful and things are going along well, but you think it could be better, you got to make the decision to go one step further in that. If any of y'all saw the movie Blow, with, what's the guy's name? Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz. And you remember if you didn't see the movie, it doesn't matter. Basically, these guys was selling weed. This was like in the 70s or the 80s. They was selling marijuana, and they was making good money. And the main character in the story is named George. It was based on a true story. And they was making good money selling weed. And George said to his partner, because they had sold all this weed, they had all this money they was counting up, a few $1,000s. And his partner was real excited, like, yo, look at all this money we got, George. And George was like, nah, this ain't enough. We're we doing all the work, but these guys that we getting the weed from that's supplying us, they making most of the money. We need to get ourselves in control of this. We need to go a step further and get control of this situation. So then they got a plane and they flew down to like Colombia or wherever they was buying the weed. It might have been they was selling cocaine by then. Doesn't even matter. But basically he decided to go one step further, and that one step took him to the point where they start selling cocaine, and he basically became the guy who introduced cocaine to the United States. Not to say this is something you should try to replicate, but him going one step further is what led to his quote-unquote success as being one of the biggest drug dealers of all time. Now, of course, he ended up in jail, and I think he died already. He died in jail, but he would have went to jail anyway for selling weed. The point of it is, he decided to go one step further, and that was the key to his success. And sometimes when people hear this story, a story like that, when they say, well, he went one step further and he failed, he got arrested and went to jail. Like, look, he would have went to jail anyway because he was selling weed. He would have went to jail if he was selling cocaine on the corner, just handed off $5, $20 hits of cocaine. He would have went to jail anyway. So if you're going to fail, if you're going to fall, if you're going to hit a wall, if you're going to offend some people, if you're going to lose some friends, if you're going to make some people not like you, if you're going to face some opposition, you might as well face it by going as further, might as well face it while going as far as you can possibly go. Why pull up short and have people go against you? Like, any of you, and how many of you right now watching this are in the space in your life where you're not exactly where you want to be? You know there's more that you want to accomplish and further that you want to go, but you're still facing opposition. You still got people who don't agree with you. You still got people who won't buy stuff from you. You still got people who won't hire you. You still got coaches who won't put you in the game. You still got teams that won't put you on a roster, and you're still not where you want to go, but you're still facing that opposition. Everybody. So if you're going to face that opposition anyway, since you're going to face it anyway, why not face it going as far as you can possibly go? And if you take me out of the equation, you look at the most successful people that you know of, or the most successful person that you know personally, or a famous person that you admire, whoever. You look at them and ask yourself, did this person decide to go one step further than everybody else? Did this person make a decision at some point where they were at a low point that some people will look at as failure and take that as a signal to quit? Did they decide at that point to go one step further? Did they do that? And I pretty much guarantee you that if you think of the most successful person you know of or can name, I guarantee you all of them have been to that point. Every single one of them has been to that point. And if you look at that person, you go look up their story, go read their book, go read their interviews, you'll know. You'll hear the story almost immediately. What was the point that turned everything around for you? They're going to take you right to that low point where some people look at it and say, all right, this means I should quit. And some people look at it and say, you know what? I need to just get a new purpose. I need to come up with a new strategy, not change the goal, but I need to come up with a new strategy for how I'm going to get to where I want to get. And they come up with a new why, as we say, the new why, a new motivation, a new inspiration, a new reason to get to where they want to go. That is your breakfast for this. That is your thought breakfast for this morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those who don't know, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day. Professional athlete, author, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, video publisher, blogger. You can find out more about me on my website. It's called DreAllDay.com. You can read my first book. It's free. That's the link in my Periscope bio. My Snapchat is @Dre Baldwin. Any other inquiries, you want to reach me directly, send me an email, Dre@DreAllDay.com. Make sure I get some good water to wash down that food. Work on your game. Make sure you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. Is either Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. Work on your game. Dre All Day.